Welcome to part 3. So I have a timer now for 10 minutes. This is a borrowed laptop, by the way, because mine is being worked on and I haven't connected it back up to the studio. And once I connect it, I don't want to have to disconnect it. It's madness. So anyway, thank you for tuning back in. Part 3. Alright, so we've talked about how the cleaning schedule got messed with, and because of that, the cooking schedule got messed with. We also covered the introduction of serious allergens for the alpha of the household and how that impacted the cleaning schedule, and then me having to take time to make my own cleansers. So let's get into my personal life, okay? Here I am, I'm wanting to do partner stunting. I'm a coach for partner stunting and all-star cheerleading, and I do a lot of pole fitness, a lot of pole training. I also wanted to study silks this year. I did study lyra, also known as hoop, but not again. Just, it was too painful. And I had started doing weights training, and all in all, almost every part of my physical training ended, because unless it was just belly dance that I was doing, I wasn't getting hardly any training in. Now, I had thankfully already purchased an in-home gym, and I already had a dance pole that saw me through level 1 outside. That was nice. And it was good that I, already had my in-home gym, but I had started a gym membership, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great because they had the perfect mat there for what I was doing. They had a good open space for partner stunting, and some of the b-boy practice I had gotten into as well, because I started that. And I thought, oh, things are really, really looking up for me, fitness-wise. This is great. This is a wonderful time. And then the lockdown hit. And admittedly, it makes perfect sense why, you shouldn't go to a gym when everybody's sick, because they're gonna be sweating on a lot of stuff, and there's gonna be all this, heavy breathing where people have been working out. I mean, it's like, ew, yeah, gross. So a little bit cringy. You walk up behind where somebody has been, and you think, wow, did they even towel that down before they left? Gross. Yeah, I think I'll skip that part in my circuit and go over here for a while. Anyway, thankfully, doing partner stunting and acrobatics and b-boy, I didn't really have to worry about that too much, because I was just using open space and the floor, so that was convenient. But that said, the Prime Minister said very specifically, look, if your sport of choice is a dangerous activity or is likely to see you and or any of your teammates in the hospital with injuries, please refrain from performing in these events or practicing these events. And I thought, oh great, that makes sense though. And then of course he immediately followed his request for people to not be involved in these dangerous activities by saying exactly what I was sitting there thinking when I heard him say it, which was that, the beds for the sick who had come in with like these broken bones, fingers, whatever, would be taking up bed space for those who might end up with coronavirus. So, be thoughtful. Think of these other people. If what you're going to do is dangerous, refrain from doing that, because we may end up needing these hospital beds for these other people. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So, following the Prime Minister's directive, I decided to keep my fitness at home. But it did mean that my acrobatics, my b-boy fitness, my partner stunting, all of that was out. My pole fitness, a lot of that was out. I wasn't going to be able to level up in pole fitness. I was going to have to pretty much just stay with what I had because I knew that when I reached level 3, because I passed level 1 and 2, if I started going into level 3, I would start looking at much more dangerous stuff. And it wasn't like I was going to have a spotter there for me because I was going to have to study level 3 from home. Everything had gone online at that point, and so the studio that I normally went to for my pole fitness instruction had gone completely online. And I thought that was really cool for those who could participate in that, but I knew for me it was going to be too dangerous, and I knew also I didn't have a quality enough pole to see me through level 3 either. It was just good enough for level 1, some of level 2, and that was it. So I'm going to be using it as my spotter for some of the other stuff that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be gripping it at the same time while I'm doing other stuff on a more solid pole that I now have. But yeah, it was just, it's too much to ask, because not only was I in this position where I couldn't go in and receive the training and have a spotter there, being my coach to actually help hold me in some of these positions while I was learning, but then as well, I didn't have a mat to crash into. When I'm doing my acrobatics and b-boy stuff here at home, I don't have crash mats. You hit the ground, that's it. You got to deal with that. So, when it comes to pole fitness, it was going to be the same issue. So I thought, okay, well, I've got to scratch that until this lockdown thing is over. And I had already missed the first term of the year, which meant by the time I was actually well enough to attend, guess what? The lockdown had already happened. So I couldn't get any training in for literally a year. It was a year before I got back into training. And I thought, oh man, this is roughage. So for those of you who have been suffering, in regards to fitness, not going to the gym, you saw how that impacted your schedule. Hey, I totally get it. I was there myself with all of this. It was insane. As I say, it shocked me all the areas that were impacted by the lockdown. It was surprising to me. I did not expect all of this when I heard that the lockdown was going to happen. And as prepared as I like to believe I am, I'm still a little bit ashamed of how I let this hurt me personally. Um, I did end up depressed, and I'll mention that later on. Um, so from fitness, we move on into the supply chain and how that impacted our lives here. Because even though we had pretty much everything we needed, there was still some stuff we needed to go to the shops for. And that was a bit of a shocker. So video 4 is going to be about some of that and how that also impacted the schedule. And with that said, I've still got a minute. So mostly it was about the long lines and where all you had to go to get stuff. I'll leave it there.